good evening. Welcome to the show. Welcome to It's Showtime. But really, it is time for Live Irish Myths, episode number, I think it's 255. Yes. Episode number 255. I have to correct YouTube. So if you look back at last week's on YouTube, at the last two live streams, you'll see that they're both called episode 253 in the description, but the graphic says 254, 253. So this one's 255 anyway, just in case anybody's confused. I hope that clears up all the confusion. Pardon me. I do apologize. I've recently eaten. I'm a slight bit late today. I'm aware of that. I was on tour today. You may have seen. I was at the office in the early afternoon today. The office being Sheed and Broga, Sheon Brew, Newgrange. Oh, what a fabulous day to be at Newgrange. Sunny and mild in winter. Yeah, we usually get mild and rainy in winter or sunny and cold. But today we had sunny and mild. It was fabulous. Lovely group from Ohio. Today, touring around the Boyne Valley. Anyway, I better say hello to a few people. And if you're joining us, please, if you haven't been here before, please do chat in the comments and we'll say hello to you. Elaine Dent-Lingenfelter is the first to say hello tonight. And with good news, Cheyenne is on day 121 of her recovery and celebrated her 21st birthday. She's coming along, albeit slowly. Well, that's okay. She's coming on. That's the main thing. You may remember a while ago, Elaine asked the Tua if we wouldn't mind sending Cheyenne some cards and letters and things. And I did, and I know that loads of the rest of you did, and I think that gave her a great lift. Good news, Elaine. Tell her we're all rooting for her, and we're delighted to hear that. Rex Fortenberry is saying howdy from the cool and frosty swamplands of South Louisiana. Ready for some mythin. Good stuff, Rex. Alan Hoskins is in Ballina-Killaloe, County Tip, just in the county by 200 metres. Hope all are well. Similarly, just while first rabbit hole of the day, I'm going down a rabbit hole before we even start. I'm going to measure exactly as the crow flies how far I am from the Meath border. I'm in County Louth, but I'm very, very close to Meath. I mean, oh my God. Yeah. The border between County Louth and County Meath is at the end of my road. I'm deadly serious. So if I was standing at my front door, I would be 90 metres, less than 100 metres. So there you go, Alan. You're close. Yes. I have to ask, you're in Tip. What county's on the other side of the Shannon from you? Is it Limerick? What? Oh my God. Ballina-Killaloe. What? Tipperary on one side and what county on the other? I'm ashamed to have to ask. I've been there. I know it's the place of Bale Baru, Brian Baru's place. Lily Shambles is here. Merry greetings to all. Is that sort of an attempt, a half-hearted attempt at saying Happy Christmas? Lily, it's good to see you. Tuesday Thompson is saying Happy Mythology Monday. Of course. Yes. Thank you for that. And Tuesday is tomorrow, and hopefully you'll all be in good form tomorrow, having joined in Mythflix. Samantha Healy is saying, hello, Anthony, Tom, and all the Tua. From Pierrefonds in Le Belle France. Last time, Warren Point and Reykjavik before. Wow, you move around like a queen on a chessboard. Different place every week. Where will it be next week? Joe Butler is saying hello from gorgeous Colorado, where it's 12 degrees Celsius. Wow. Shared to MIC pages. Thank you, Auntie Joe, for all that you do. Wayne Bird, we're on evening, Anthony, on Facebook tonight. Yes, we are, but you're watching on YouTube, according to that. But that's okay. Whatever way you have to get your Mythflix fix. Your Mythflix fix. In Waves is saying, hello, great to catch another live stream. Hope all the two enjoyed the fine sunshine today. The view from Seafin Passage Grave was spectacular. Yes, it was a fabulous day and a lovely day to be out of Passage Tomb. interestingly, often quoted is the statistic that the passage tomb, the southern of the two passage tombs at Slieve Gullion, the Calivera's house, is the highest passage tomb in Ireland in elevation on the island of Ireland. And I looked because somebody commented on one of my posts saying, no, Seafin is higher. And Seafin is higher, according to the data that I was looking at. Anybody care to weigh in on that and confirm our suspicions that Seafin is at a higher elevation above sea level than the Calivera's house on Slieve Gullion? Britt Griffin is tuning in from Cobalt in northern Ontario, getting chilly, and the chickadees are loading up at the bird feeders. I'm sure they are. Well, is there much snow around, Britt? Thankfully, we don't get much of it. And I'm touching wood as I say that. And hope it doesn't, that I don't bring it on us. Caitlin Moon is in Cecil County in Maryland. I saw what a tremendous job you and your dad did on lighting up that beautiful house. Caitlin, glad to hear that you're enjoying the celebrations on the other side of the pond this time. And come here, have a relaxing. I know you've been stressed out with your doctorate and all that. So I hope you're putting the knees up and relaxing and maybe having a wee tipple or two, you know. Arvin Gaunt is in the house. Hello, all. Well, hello to you and good evening. Welcome to the library. Yes, Wayne, seeing that twice for some reason. Valerie Gallagher has joined us. It's breezy and warmish in Rhode Island. Brilliant stuff. Hello to the smallest state from the smallest county in Ireland. Kelly Nicheli, who is in the Pacific Northwest, says, oh no, bonsoir from Bretagne, ce soir. Is that Bretagne? Is that Britain or Brittany? Le Royaume-Uni or La France? Kelly, it's so good to see you. And I gather you're on this side of the pond. Brilliant stuff. Tom King is in the house. And he met Alan in Nina. There you go. Poking in where my nose isn't needed. There you go. I'll pass that along. Brilliant stuff, Elaine. Tell her we're rooting for her. Give her our best wishes. Hugs from every one of us. Barbara Murphy says, Gia Yevna Tua. Hello, everyone, from a standard winter day. 23 Fahrenheit. How the frick is that standard? Is that... Wow. 23... No, you have them the opposite way. You have them the wrong way around, haven't you? 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius, right? Hottest day of the week, yes. Wow. I could still send you frozen people a few degrees. Yeah. I'm not complaining. We had a warm day, but then it started raining in the afternoon. Adrian O'Beglin is in the house. Hello, Adrian. Hope you are well. Nicole Wendt is in Hamburg. Is it Vent or Went? I asked you this already and I can't remember. Nicole, you're so welcome. And good evening to you. Guten Nacht. Tom King is saying hello to everyone else. I lost the rabbit hole pool. I had him at 10 minutes. Yeah, we're down early this week. Samantha Healy says, I know Killaloo Ballina very well. Bridgetown and O'Brien's Bridge area. Yeah. Please tell me what county is on the other side from Tipperary, though. Evening, everyone. I was very sorry to miss last week's episode. I forgot it was Monday again. Did you talk about the druids? Yes. We even referred to them as magi and wizards. So we could actually say a wizard is never late. I know, right? Shocking. Mavanwe, always a pleasure to welcome you. Good to see you. Alva Kelly is saying to Nonoa, hope everyone is enjoying this gorgeous evening. Where are you, Alva? Because it's not so gorgeous here right now. It's raining here in Drogheda. It's raining. Finally, Tom gets around to saying hello. Hello, Anthony and the Mighty Two. Well, it's a soft old evening here at the Forge. A good fire lit and working away. Looking forward to story time. Good stuff, Tom. If Tom, do you know what? We're always talking about weather and warm weather and have people having degrees to spare. If there ever was a person who has enthusiasm to spare, Tom could give every one of us a little bit of enthusiasm and still have full-on enthusiasm himself, you know. County Clare on the Killaloo side, says Elaine Dent-Lingenfelter. I was saying Limerick. Clare, oh, of course. Bale Barrows and Clare, isn't it? It's not, yes, the Dáil Cláis. Oh, I shall punish myself severely. by not having a whiskey tonight. I missed it too, says Barbara. Poorly planned dentist appointment, but surely there are more important things in life than live Irish myths, such as visit to the dentist. But while you're at the dentist, you could say, "Do you mind if I watch something on the live stream while you're doing the job?" Yeah, you could ask. Can you put it on the big screen there? It'll distract me from the procedure I'm having done, the drilling and all that scraping, all that horrible stuff they do. Yeah, Samantha, no, I've seen all these already. Okay, we're going through one of these repeated, I'm seeing lots of repeated comments, so forgive me for a moment while I scroll down to the ones that are new and not repeated. And Coda says hello. He's getting excited because Saskia is going out. I'm getting my car's oil changed at the moment, but I'll have to have a glass of something when I get home. There's an idea. Brilliant. Yeah, my family says Brittany, so it's Bretagne is Brittany, not Britain. What is Britain in French? I know Le Royaume-Uni is the United Kingdom. Pardon me. I should know this. I learned French in school. Sandra Boothroyd, evening, Sandra. Hope you're well. Anne McCallum is in the house. Hope everyone's in good form. We enjoyed an unseasonably warm but rainy weekend with a wonderful high of 10 Celsius. Today, a high of 2 and heading back down into the negative zone. Looking forward to today's episode. I'm never going to complain about Irish weather. We had a hurricane yesterday, by the way. Hurricane that passed over the Atlantic and the tail end of a hurricane. And there was a tornado in Leitrim Village in County Leitrim. A tornado. We don't generally have such things in Ireland. We had a tornado yesterday evening at 6 o'clock here in Drogheda yesterday. It was lashing out of the heavens and it was extremely windy. And at 9 o'clock this morning, I was on my way up to Fornox. Gorgeous morning. Low sun, but mild and beautiful. Amazing. Jeff Anders is in the misty, is saying hello from the misty mountain. Far away over the mist. What is it? Far over the misty mountains cold, through something and caverns old. Jeff, I'm not sure if we've seen you before. You're very welcome to Live Irish Myths. I don't normally sing to welcome for people for the first time, but that just came into my head. Where is the Misty Mountain? Is there a real Misty Mountain? Not the Misty Mountains of Middle Earth. Northman, I'm using your materials from literature like Destruction of the Durgas Hostel to my exam next Monday. You were very helpful. Brilliant stuff. Well, I hope you pass with flying colours and give me a good honourable mention in there. Brilliant. The full Irish Gary's in the house. Good evening, great and good to another fine day on the sod. See, it has a commanding view of all North Wicklow. That's Seafin, I presume, and South Dublin. Yeah, great up there. Gary, great to see you. Hope you're keeping well. Desiree is in the house. Me and Amadeus are so happy to be with the two today. I've been talking with a loved one who has been providing medical aid in Gaza, and the horrors he shared with me make me so grateful to have this beautiful community of loving people to connect with every week. I know, right? And we think we have problems, and we look around the world and see what's going on. We have no problems, Seafin, yes, indeed. Thank you, Gary. Valerie Gallagher saying hello to Tom from across the Atlantic. Mariana Dunn is in the house from sunny Seminary Valley, Alexandria, Virginia. Hello, Mariana. Good evening to you. Adina is in the house. Adina Sparks, looking forward to Monday Mythflix. As am I. I apologise. I know I have to say hello to everyone. You see, Catherine Cleary needs to be said hello to, for instance. She's joining us all the way from beautiful Southern California. A very good afternoon to you, Catherine. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy the live stream. Anna Corrigan is in Waterford next to Tip. That's okay. Brilliant. Down south, as they say. How's the weather with you? Hope it's good. Barb Jordan is in the house. Hello, Barb. Long time no see, since last week. Valerie Gallagher might actually enjoy the dentist. Mythical eye teeth. Angleterre, of course. Oh, the country of the angles. Literally, is that what it means? Terre is ground, isn't it? Pomme de terre. Potato. Apples from the ground. I should have known that. Angleterre, yes. And Grand Bretagne, says Mavanway. Oh no, says Elaine, it's Mythical Ireland for me because it's painless. Lol. I wish everybody agreed. Vicky Wallace Others in the house. Hello, my friends, and hello, if they are watching, to Evan and Chile. A very special wave all the way from Ireland to you guys. Hope you're in good form. There you go. Very special. Amadeus' tail is wagging like crazy. Whatever Coda is saying has Amadeus very excited. He's saying, "Oh, oh." He's saying, is Saskia going out? I want to go out with her so I can guard her while she's peeing. Which means, in plain English, so that I can put my nose at very close quarters to her pee and sniff it while she's peeing. Don't even go there, folks. I kid you not. Steve Martinson has joined us. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old. Yeah, I love that. Love that song. From The Hobbit, of course, the movie, or, well, one of those Hobbit movies. Thank you, Steve. Misty Mountain Hop is a Led Zeppelin song. Yes. And I happen to know, some of you may be aware, if you're big Led Zepp fans, there is a cover band in the States from California called Led Zepp Again. And their lead singer is from Drogheda. And I know him. And I've met him loads of times. A lovely guy. David Swan Montgomery. Led Zepp Again. So if you've ever seen Led Zepp Again, they are the best Led Zeppelin tribute band there is. Teresa Collins is in the house. How's everything this evening? All good. Apart from the fact that it's raining. But I'm here and I'm dry. And we're all in good form, it looks like. Excuse me. Okay. Alva Kelly is like there's sunshine in my heart. Oh, I like it. Northman says, Mythical Ireland, I add your name in archaeology exam 2 weeks ago. I think you give me like 2 additional points, so thank you. Brilliant. Glad to hear it. There was a time where if you mentioned Anthony Murphy in an archaeology paper, you'd be deducted points. So that's good to hear. Who else? James Farrelly is in saying hello, saying good evening, all misty mythicals. Yes, indeed, James. Good to see you. So Desiree says, getting a hug from Tom and going on a tour with Anthony is at the very top of my bucket list. Brilliant. You have to be careful with Tom because he doesn't just hug you, he'll pick you up. I'm telling you, he will. He picks people up. Don't you, Tom? There's loads of pictures of Tom picking a mixture of people, but a lot of women get picked up. Susan Quinn is in Dallas. Hello, Susan. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us here on Live Irish Myths. We will be reading very, very shortly. Valentina Bernardi is in Avalon. Cold and rainy here too in Glastonbury. I hope the flooding subsided. I saw some pictures last week of the flooding. Somebody mentioned it. Becca is in Martinsburg in West Virginia. Brilliant stuff. Good afternoon to you. And Vicky says, would be top of my list too. Brilliant. Tom King says guaranteed, and he's talking about picking you up. Desiree, Tom doesn't just pick people up. He swings them around the place. He puts you over his shoulders. I'm telling you. Forewarned is forearmed. Where did I leave my book? It's still on the shelf. Can't get the staff these days. Imagine the book isn't even on the desk. Far over the misty mountains cold, through dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away, or something like that. Steve did provide the words, but I'm not that good a singer. So we are, of course, reading A Social History of Ancient Ireland by P.W. Joyce, episode 1, I was going to say, volume 1, published 1903. And we are continuing this week. We're reading about paganism. And the section that we were reading last week when we gave up, when we stopped to take a break until this week, was called Divination. Exciting stuff. Yes, so let us continue. Is everybody ready? At 26 minutes past 8, finally, you've got a good voice there, Anthony, says Mavanway. Would I make a tenor or a bass singer in a Welsh male voice choir? That's the question. That's the real test, you know. I'm going to be so happy to get that hug. I'm pick him up. Which you'll pick him up. That will be quite the show, I can tell you. Tom, challenge accepted. And Bronze Age level patrons have special access to Anthony's first CD. Yes. Far over the misty mountains cold, through dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away. I see. I can't keep the key in my head. And I wouldn't mind. I play in a brass band. For God's sake, this should be. The fire was red. It flaming spread. The trees like torches blazed with light. Do you know, I think I might have said this before, but there is a scene in the Lord of the Rings movies that I think is one of the most extraordinary, dramatic, well-lit, pensive, heart-wrenching, said poetic already, did I? Mythical movie scenes that I've ever seen. And I just, when I watch it, I get all misty, I get all teary-eyed. It's at Helm's Deep, and it's where Theoden is getting his armor on, and he's quoting that lovely poem of Tolkien's in Lord of the Rings, the one about where is the horse and the rider. Oh, it's fabulous. So I'll share that with you. You probably can't hear that because generally the streaming software tends to cut out background noise, but it's only 1 minute 45 seconds. So I'll share that link. Don't watch it now because I'm about to start reading. I'm joking. Yeah, I just think it's one of my top 5 best movie scenes that I've ever seen. It's brilliant. Who's late? Somebody's perfect timing. Heather Marie, we were only just about to start. To whatever end. Whatever end. Martina, hello there. I'm watching Lord of the Rings clip that I love. I'm after sharing it so you can watch it with me. Yeah, we've gone down a huge Lord of the Rings rabbit hole. I just think it's powerful. Where is the horse and the rider? Where is the horn that was blowing? The shortened version. They have passed like rain on the mountains, like wind in the meadow. Days have gone down west, behind the hills, to shadow. I quoted that in Island of the Setting Sun. That's how much I loved it. Very mythical. Feels like something out of Mythical Ireland, doesn't it? Feels like something ancient. Joe Monks is in the house. I have to say thank you to this man. You know what for, Joe. So today, I was on a tour, which required me to meet some people at Fornox and then to bring them to Newgrange and then to go to Slane and then to Tara. But before they came to Fornox, I was taking photographs with certain light and mixing the colours and getting what I hope are very dramatic results. And then this evening at Tara, as it was getting dark, I was out getting pictures with different colour lights. Oh, wait till you see the results. Hope you like them. Thanks, Joe. Good to see you. Everyone now watching Lord of the Rings, which means it's going to be impossible to extract their faces out of that screen to get them to watch this. Gosh, Irish accent is hard to understand. I don't have a thick Irish accent, actually. You should hear some of my townspeople. You should hear the lads down in Kerry. If you think it's hard to make me out there, you could be listening to a guy there now, and he could be talking to this, and you could be listening there. No, you wouldn't have a clue what he's saying. But anyway, Helen Hirsch Chater is saying, arriving late, does that make me a wizard? Or a druid? Apparently they're the same thing, according to what we were reading last week. Great to see you, Helen. No, we're just about to start reading. Marcus is also in the house, Irish Technical Thinker. It's my partner's birthday on the 21st of December. Hope to tune in for her to get a birthday shout out for her. Yeah, there's a live stream on this year from Newgrange on the 21st. Hope it's sunny. Yeah, brilliant. Hopefully share at least one picture later. I might give you a sneak preview, Joe. I might send you some screenshots. I suspect most of us can quote major parts. Barbara is, of course, talking about Lord of the Rings, or at least speak the lines along with the characters. Yes, indeed. The books are absolutely brilliant, and the films are amazing too. What I find when I go back to reading Lord of the Rings is that just this, it's a pathos. I don't know what it is. It invokes emotion in a way the movies just can't. And Tolkien is so descriptive. Everything is described, and it's all atmospheric, and it's like it's all emotional, you know? It's really as if he is connecting with a world that he once knew, and he's sad that it's gone. Do you ever get that feeling when you read Lord of the Rings, you know? For 300 episode, it should be the rabbit hole episode. We just explore past rabbit holes, whole show. Sounds like a great idea to say. I'm game. Oh, which reminds me, somebody's idea last week, the top 10 myth books and the top 10 history books, which we will get round to, definitely. So glad they're doing the live stream from the chamber again. 'Tis brilliant. Belle Richards is saying good morning from Australia. We are always delighted to say happy Tuesday morning to our Australian friends, while most of us are still stuck in Monday. Good morning to you, Belle. Great to see you. Please do. Knew you'd work some magic, says Joe. I, for some reason, had a penchant for combining blue and red, although I also had some green and yellow and pink and purple. So wait till you see. I'll share some. I'll try and share some screenshots with you when we're finished the live stream, Joe. But brilliant. Thank you for inspiring me to get up off my backside and go out with the camera again. I haven't been out in a while. Debbie Sheehy, another good morning from Australia. Well, good morning, neighbours. Everybody. I'm sorry, that's terrible. It's like nobody watches Neighbours anymore. It's probably not even on anymore. Debbie, I'm sorry for the stereotypical stupidity. But good morning, and thank you for joining us. Happy Tuesday to you. Right. Derek Sherry's joined us as well. Derek is watching on Facebook. Hello, Derek. I'm going to start reading because it's now 34 minutes past. Can you whistle? Life's a piece of when you look at it. Are we going to read this book now? Says apologies. Okay, let's get going. Ready? If you're following along, this is page 231. If you're not following along, it's page 231. Better than your singing. It wouldn't be hard. Yes, my wife kept giving out. She said, Anthony, you have no sense of direction at all. She picked on me so much about it. I just, that was it. I packed my bags right there and then. And right. I packed my bags and right. In several of the tales, I'm waiting for the penny to drop. Joe Butler, maybe the beautiful new pup should be named Myth. Beautiful new pup? Tell us more. In several of the tales, we find mention of a druidic wheel divination, i.e., made by means of a wheel. The celebrated druid, Morui, or Mogrui, if you prefer, of Darbra, that's Mogruith, now Valentia Island in Kerry, was so called on account of his skill in this sort of divination. For in the Cor Anvan, we read of him. Moirui signifies Magus Rotarum, the wizard, or rather the devotee of the wheels. For it is by wheels he used to make his Tascela Druidachta, or Druachta, or magical observation. Yeah, he was very special. So what I'm picturing here, I don't know what the rest of you are thinking. I'm picturing a spinning wheel, like on a sort of a a game of chance, as it were. Spin the wheel and hopefully win a $250,000. A lottery game or something. Oh, nice. Forever home. Lovely. In another place, we read that his daughter, who went with him to the east to learn magic, made a roch or rowing wheel, probably for the purpose of divination. But the roch figured in other functions, as may be seen in O'Curry's manuscripts materials. I have not the least notion of how the druidical divination wheel was made or how it was used, but it may be of interest to observe here that, as Rhys remarks, the old Gaulish sun god is represented with a wheel in his hand. Finn McCool, besides his other accomplishments, has the gift of divination, for which he used a rite particular to himself. Or, hang on a moment, I'm going to turn off my heater. No, I'm going to stretch over. Oh my God. It's a bad idea to stretch when you get to a certain age, because the thing is, you lean over and you might be able to get back up. A basin of clear water was brought to him, in which, having washed his hands and having complied with some other formalities, he put his thumb in his mouth under his tooth of knowledge, on which the future event he looked for was revealed to him. This is repeatedly mentioned in the tales of the Fianna, and the legend is prevalent everywhere in Ireland to the present day. Yes. So the tooth of knowledge. So, it's not so much that Finn, he shoved his thumb in his mouth after he ate the salmon of knowledge, or after he burnt his thumb on the salmon of knowledge, and that gave him the knowledge of the fish. But it wasn't that particularly. It was the tooth. When he put the thumb in under a certain tooth, it gave him inspiration or knowledge or whatever. I'm picturing a big lucky ham wheel, says Belle Richards. Chakra means wheel, says Heather Marie. A wisdom tooth, says Helen. Yeah, I like that. Yes, exactly, a wisdom tooth. And the legend is prevalent, yes, in the story of the praise of Cormac and the death of Finn. This rite is said to be a sort of Tenim Lyja, or part of it. Tenim Lyja is one of the three gifts that Finn is bestowed with. Jevna is his name, just before he burns his thumb on the fish and gains the knowledge. So Tenim Lyja, Dichatal Dichaniv, and the famous one, Imbus Forosni. In the Irish Nennius, we are told that certain druids taught druidism, idolatry, sorcery, the composition of bright poems, divination from sneezing, from the voices of birds, and from other omens. Guess what I saw today, by the way? Divination from sneezing. Wow. Somebody sneezes, and some druids say, you're going to win the lottery. It's in your sneeze, I can tell you. I saw a lighting from the road in front of me as I travelled over from Fornox to the Whites today to get the key. Four magpies. 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy. And they all took up off the surface of the road together and flew off over the ditch into the next field. And how to find out by these means suitable weather and lucky days for any enterprise. Before the Battle of Moirath, the Druid interprets King Donald's dream and advises precautionary measures. Divination by the voices of birds was very generally practiced, especially from the croaking of the raven and the chirping of the wren. And the very syllables they utter with their interpretation, are given in the old books. The wren in particular was considered so great a prophet that in an old life of St. Mulling, one of its Irish names, Dran, D-R-E-A-N, is fancifully derived from Drí-Ain, meaning the Druid of Birds. When St. Kellach Bishop of Killala was about to be murdered. The raven croaked, and the grey-coated scald crow called. The wise little wren twittered ominously, and the kite of Cluno sat in his yew tree waiting patiently to carry off his talons full of the victim's flesh. Valerie says, my allergies could be useful. I know, I'm always sneezing. I always sneeze twice, so guess second one would be the deja vu sneeze. Brilliant. But when, after the deed had been perpetrated, the birds of prey came scrambling for their shares, every one that ate the last morsel of the saint's flesh dropped down dead. So don't eat saints, is, I think, the message. The Welsh birds of prey knew better when they saw the bodies of the slaughtered druids. Far, this is a quote, far, far aloof, the affrighted ravens sail. The famished eagle screams and passes by, unquote, and that's The Bard by Gray. Just before the attack by Inkel and his band of pirates on Da Derga's hostel, the howl of Ossar, King Connery's messan or lapdog, portended the coming battle and slaughter. And for a repeat of that wonderful time we had, 4 episodes of fun reading the destruction of Da Derga's hostel. What do you see? Not difficult. That. Refer back to the episodes we did ages and ages ago during the pandemic, probably during the year 2020. Hang on, I'm just cutting my Newgrange wristband off today. When you go to Newgrange, you get a wristband. You used to get a sticker, but the stickers always fell off. So we were on the 115 tour at Newgrange today, so we had silver grey wristbands. There you go. Just yes. The clapping of hands was used in some way as an omen, and also an examination of the shape of a crooked, knotted tree root. Sometimes animals were sacrificed as part of the ceremony of divination. When King Connery, that's Conor O'More, and his retinue were in Da Derga's hostel, several unusual and ominous circumstances occurred. And we're not talking about somebody in the corner farting, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what we're talking about here. Several unusual and ominous circumstances occurred which foreboded disaster to the hostel. Whereupon the king's chief juggler, who had just failed for the first time in his life to perform his juggling feat, one of the omens, said to the druid Fer Collier, "Sacrifice thy pig now and find out who is about to attack the hostel," unquote. Fer Collier did so and foretold the impending destruction of the hostel by pirates. Vanway says, good old Da Derga. Bell Richards is laughing. Always a good thing. We aim to provide entertainment on this show. We usually fall very short of that, but sometimes we get people laughing. I like how the line is not to eat saints, but apparently it's perfectly fine to eat everyone else. Yeah. Cannibalism is fine so long as you don't eat saints or druids. Bacon, says Desiree. Pigs. There you go. Sea Fin, according to legend, was the seat of Finn McCool, while Sea Fingan was the seat of his son Oisin. What are you reading from, says Bell? Well, it is a Social History of Ancient Ireland by P.W. Joyce, Volume 1. We're just about approaching the halfway mark, I think. What are we on? Page 273 of, how many pages? 631. 631 divided by 2 before you all start. 315. Okay, we're still a bit away from it, folks. We're not halfway, but not too far off. Thank you. You're very welcome. Now, where were we? I have lost my place. Lucky and unlucky days. There were certain cross days in every month of the year which were unlucky for undertaking any enterprise, of which a list is given by O'Curry from an Irish medical manuscript. You wouldn't find that in a medical a book today. But on individual occasions, the Druids determined the days to be avoided, often by calculations of the moon's age. A Druid predicted that his daughter's baby, if born on a certain day, would turn out just an ordinary person. But if born on the next day, he was to be a king and the ancestor of kings. Wow, you better not go into labour till tomorrow, dear. Johnny Wilson is in Dallas, Texas, where the weather is fabulous. Spread it around, Johnny. Give us a few degrees, you know. Take our rain. It's bucketing down here at the moment. Accordingly, the poor mother so managed that the birth was delayed till the next day, but sacrificed her own life by doing so. And her baby was subsequently Féacha Mulathan, an illustrious king of Munster. Many examples might be cited where disaster attended an undertaking on account of it beginning on an unlucky day. It is hardly necessary to remark that the superstition of lucky and unlucky days was common amongst most ancient nations, and that it still lives vigorously among ourselves in all grades of society. This section is called tonsure. Just cross your legs, says Bell. There you go. The Druids had a tonsure. The two Druids, Mile and Coplich, brothers, the tutors of King Leira's daughters, Ethne and Fidelma, had their hair cut in a magical figure, Norma Magica, called in Irish Orbach Giunnae, Airbacc, Giunnae, about the meaning of which there has been some doubt. Dr. Todd asserts that it means as the bond of Gehenna or hell, but the Reverend Dr. Hogan questions this and thinks it may mean simply cut of the hair, meaning Orbach equal caesura from Bach tonsio or ligo with the preposition air. That's head melting. That he is. I'll keep going. That he is right in making Giunnae of the hair is plain from a passage in the Cor Anvan, which explains Giumach as meaning folt, i.e., hair, Folt. But it seems to me that Airbach, which looks like airbag, AIRBACC, long before automobiles. But it seems to me that Airbach is merely Arbe, as in Arbedrua, with the common termination ach, as we write smulach, thrush for small, and as Giumach for Giunnae above. Okay, I'll keep going. For Airbach is the way of writing AIRBEACH or AIRBACH used by Latin writers, as they wrote Fiach, FIACC, for Fiach, FIACH. If this is so, Airbach, oh, that's interesting. Sorry, pardon me. I'm going down my own little rabbit hole here. Never mind. Carry on, Anthony. If this is so, Airbach Giunnae means merely the fence cut of the hair, implying that in this tonsure, the hair was cut in such a way as to leave a sort of eave or fence along some part of the head. St. Patrick considered the Norma Magica a diabolical mark, for when these two Druids were converted, he had their hair cut so as to obliterate it. The very name of one of those brothers, Mael, M-A-E-L, signifying bald, conveys the sense of tonsured, for we see from the narrative that he was not naturally bald. Moreover, one of Leira's druids at Tara was called Lucet Mael, which name is made by the old Latin writers Lucet Calvus, i.e. the bald or tonsured. In connection with this, it will be interesting to mention that in Murchu's memoir of St. Patrick, we read of a certain Ulster chief named MacCool, very tyrannical and wicked, a notorious robber and murderer. This man openly proclaimed his own character by adopting, as an indication of his villainous career, certain marks, usually exhibited by persons of his sort, which are elsewhere explained as signa diabolica super capita, diabolical marks on the head. No doubt some special cut of the hair. The adoption of this mark was an indication that the persons devoted themselves to the service of the devil and became Giberga, i.e., the people who practiced violence, robbery, and murder as a sort of profession. And then we go on to heathen baptism. Could you imagine going to hospital in labour and they send you home because the moon isn't right phase or planetary line? Could you come back tomorrow? What do you mean you're in labour and your waters are broken? Never mind. Can you hold on to it till tomorrow, please? Today is not a very inspiring day. Ivania Lee is saying good morning from New Zealand. Found a rabbit hole of my own here. Why I'm late. Good morning, Ivania. Happy Tuesday to you. Great to see you. Michael Trott, who's also in New Zealand, is saying good morning. The druidic interest, the look, the tonsures, lol. Great to hear these stories in New Zealand. The hair issue represented the Celtic Christian fusion for about 400 years, especially in Ireland, and the dyes for Easter. What is it, though, about certain, I won't generalize here, but certain branches or certain religious people who have a problem with haircuts and tattoos and body piercings, that some people think it's like a mark of the devil? You know, it seems that goes back a long, long way, actually, you know. I guess they were born on the wrong day. Bad seed born on a new moon. Kathy May Dow has joined us. All ready for the Christmas. Well, not me. Christmas Eve at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Hopefully I'll be ready for Christmas. In connection with this, it'll be interesting to me. Sorry, we did that. Yes. Heathen baptism. The Druids had a heathen baptism, Bastia Gaintlia. The three sons of Conall Jarg O'Cara were baptized according to this rite, with the direct intention of devoting them to the service of the devil, though they afterwards became three very holy men. Oh, I can just imagine Graham Chapman or John Cleese or Eric Idle reading that. I really can. I'm going to read that sentence again. I think it's hilarious. Fiona hello and good morning from Ireland to Tasmania. We have lots of viewers in Australia and Tasmania and New Zealand this morning. I know it's evening here and it's afternoon in the States on Monday, but it's Tuesday morning down there. Fiona, it's great to see you. I hope you're in good form. Let me read that sentence again. The three sons of Conall Jarg O'Cara were baptized according to this rite. This is a heathen baptism, with the direct intention of devoting them to the service of the devil, though they afterwards became three very holy men. Wow. Is that like a priest, you know, sort of delivering that sort of lecture from the pulpit saying, yous are all sinners and you should all ask for forgiveness for your sins. Oh, and by the way, when I was younger, I pledged myself to the devil. So also, the celebrated Red Branch hero, Conall Cernach, when he was born, quote, Druids came to baptize the child into heathenism, and they sang the heathen baptism by his Gentlia over the little child. And they said, never will be born a boy who will be more impious than this boy towards the Connaisians, unquote, whoever they were. When Ailill Ollam, king of Munster, in the beginning of the 3rd century, was a child, quote, he was baptized, brackets, pagan fashion, close brackets, in druidic streams, unquote. In the Gaelic version of the Travels of Sir John Mandeville, where the scripture account of Isaac and Ishmael is given, the term heathen baptism is applied to circumcision. But this is an exceptional application, and the Irish ceremony was altogether different. No, this is a family show. I couldn't possibly tell that joke. No, I'm not going to tell that joke. The ancient Welsh people also had Why are you listening, Mavanwe? The ancient Welsh people also had a heathen baptism. The Welsh hero GWRI, Gree, I don't know how to pronounce that, of the golden hair, when an infant was, quote, baptized with the baptism that was usual at that time, unquote. That doesn't sound too diabolical, does it? Possibly the heathen baptism of the Irish and Welsh was adopted by the druids of both nations in imitation of the Christian rite, by way of opposition to the new doctrines, devoting the child to the service of their own gods, which in the eyes of the Christian redactors of the tales was equivalent to devoting him to the devil. Yeah, exactly. It's the Christian monks who are making all this about the devil, because it's not the same as the Christian rite, Yes. Navadme is listening. Good. That makes one. I'm sure lots of people stopped ages ago, especially when I was singing. Guion rhymes with fion. Oh, thank you. What about G? So I want you to pronounce this. GWRI. Fiona says, Finn McCool, my great-grandfather. Con of the 100 Battles and many of the High Kings are my grandfathers. I had my DNA processed back 2,000 years in Ireland. I'm not sure Finn actually existed. I don't know. I think he's mostly mythological, but I mean, I could be mistaken. Con Cade Cathach, a remarkable king. So the next section is called Druids' Robes. The Druids wore a white robe. We read in Tiracon's notes that Amalga's Druid, Rechra, and his 8 companions, on the occasion when they attempted to kill St. Patrick, were clad in white tunics, like the Gaulish Druid who, as Pliny states, wore a white robe when cutting the mistletoe from the oak with a knife of gold. Well, there you go. And that is the entire section called Druids' Robes. The next one is called Trees Reverenced. We know that the Gaulish Druids regarded the oak, especially when mistletoe grew on it, with much religious veneration. But I cannot find that the Irish Druids had any special veneration for the oak, although, like other trees, it occasionally figures in curious pagan rites. The mistletoe is not a native Irish plant. It was introduced sometime in the last century. He was writing in 1903, so he's suggesting it was introduced in the 19th century. The statement we so often see put forward that the Irish Druids held their religious meetings and performed their solemn rites under the sacred shade of the oak is pure invention. But they attributed certain druidical or fairy virtues to the yew, the hazel, and the quicken or rowan tree. We did, of course, several episodes about the mythology and folklore of Irish trees or tree lore ages and ages ago. So you can look up on the YouTube, the Mythical Ireland YouTube channel, or the Facebook page for those. Especially the last, as in the rowan tree, and employed them in many of their superstitious ceremonies. We have already seen that yew rods were used in divination, which is curious because you would have imagined it was the hazel rod, but that was, of course, mainly for water. In the historic tale of the Forbush Droma Dogara, or the Siege of Knock Long in County Limerick, we read that when the northern and southern armies confronted each other, the Druids on both sides made immense fires of golden boughs. These were all cut by the soldiers with mysterious formalities, and the fires were lighted with great incantations, and all of that stuff. As is written, G, as in G for Gaelic, W as in oo, like two, gwu, and then pronounced or rolled it, gwri, gwri, gwri. Does that sound right? Gwri? God. Sorry, I'm making a fool of myself. I wish that sometimes I wish I could put you guys up on the screen, because all I'm doing is reading your comments. Well, I would like you to actually pronounce it for us. How did they keep their robes white, worshipping? I know, right? Daz Ultra White. It wasn't around back then. Washing machines hadn't been invented. I can't even keep my clothes white sitting on my couch. Brilliant. Yes. Maybe don't roll the oar. Okay, gree. Each fire was intended to exercise a sinister influence on the opposing army. And from the movements of the smoke and flames, the druids drew forecasts of the issue of war. On some occasions, as we read, witches or druids or malignant phantoms cooked flesh, sometimes the flesh of dogs or horses, close your ears, Desiree, on quickened tree spits as part of a diabolical rite for the destruction of some person obnoxious to them. Many of these superstitions have survived to our own day. Really? Wow. People were doing that shit in 1903. Wow. The quicken is a terror to fairies and counteracts their evil devices. Bring a quicken tree walking stick out at night and the fairies will take care to give you a wide berth. When a housewife is churning, because that's what women used to do apparently, if she puts a ring made of a twig from this tree on the handle of the churn dash, no evil-minded neighbour can rob her of her butter through any pishogues or other malign fairy influence. And this section is called Druids as Teachers and Counsellors. Maybe their outfits were more of an off-white. I suspect so, Mavanway. Something is, if you look at sheep, for instance, they are sort of generally white, but they get a bit grubby, so it becomes a bit of an off-white. A most important function of the Druids was that of teaching. They were employed to educate the children of kings and chiefs, and were indeed the only educators, which greatly added to their influence. King Laera's two daughters were sent to live at Crochan in Connacht, that's Rathcroghan, in the house of the two druids who had charge of their education, and even St. Columba, when a child, began his education under a druid. The chief druid of a king held a very influential position. He was the king's confidential advisor on important affairs. When King Conor MacNessa contemplated avenging the foray of Queen Maeve, he sought and followed the advice of his, quote, right illustrious, unquote, druid Coffa, as to the time and manner of the projected expedition. And on St. Patrick's visit to Tara, King Laera's proceedings were entirely regulated by the advice of his two chief druids, Luchadmile and Lochru. The great respect in which druids were held is illustrated by a passage in the Mesca Ullad in the Book of the Dun Cow. Mesca Ullad is the intoxication of the Ulstermen, isn't it? Which tells us that at an assembly it was gesh, i.e. was forbidden to the Ultonians to speak till their king Concovar or Conor MacNessa had spoken first. And it was in like manner one of Conor's Giasa to speak before his druids. Wow. That's putting you in your place. Accordingly, on a certain occasion at a feast, Concovar stood up from where he sat on his hero seat or throne, and there was instant silence, so that a needle falling from roof to floor would be heard. As we say in modern times, you could hear a pin drop. Yet he too remained silent till his druid Coffad asked, "What is this, O illustrious king?" To which he said, that was a pin dropping. Sorry. After which the king, taking this question as an invitation to speak, said what he had to say in the assembly. Next section is about druidesses. Ladies, are you listening? Did it take 19 years training, says Michael, or asks Michael, a lunar thing to be a full druid? I'm not sure about that. I know it took a long time and you had to learn a lot of stuff. Not quite sure about that 19 years. Something about that rings a bell. The fur Amadeus blesses everything I own with is the only thing I wear that stays white. Brilliant. Valerie's saying yes! Exclamation mark. To what? Druidesses? Yes, well, short section, but come here, listen, pay attention and you'll enjoy this. The ancient Irish had druidesses also, like their relatives, the Gauls. In the Reine d'Inchanagus, a druidess is called a bandrui, i.e., or literally, a woman druid. And many individual druidesses figure in the ancient writings. According to the same d'Inchanagus, Bridget was a Bonfili, a poetess, and Bondri, a woman druid, or a druidess. These druidesses are also noticed in the ecclesiastical writings, as, for instance, in one of St. Patrick's canons, not the ones that fire cannonballs, canon, C-A-N-O-N-S, where kings are warned to give no countenance to magi, i.e. the druids, or pythonesses, or augurers, in which it is obvious from the connection that the pythonesses were druidesses. Is this like snakes? Among the dangers that St. Patrick in his hymn asks God to protect him from are the spells of women. Brilliant. Evidently, druidesses. Many potent witches called Bantua. But you're all the Tua, which means Valerie and Desiree and Joe and Barbara and Elaine and Mariana, etc., 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 ad nauseum. You're witches. There's no easy way to say it. Bantua. I would just take that as women family, women tribe. But no, apparently, potent witches, not just witches, potent, dangerous. Many potent witches called Bantua and also Banshee, fairy women, figure in the tales, who are probably regarded as druidesses. So you're not witches, you're druidesses. Witches is just what Christian men call women that they can't deal with because they got intellect and zest and, power. Before the second battle of Moitura, the two Bantoi of the Daedanans promise to enchant the tree, quote, the trees and stones and sods of the earth, so that they shall become a host of men against them, the Fomorian enemies, and rout them, unquote. So the women are quite powerful. Don't mess with the women. Too bad Lexi Erickson isn't here, says Barbara. She would know about the modern ones. I'm not sure we know for sure about the ancient ones. Are monks, Ivania is asking a question, are monks and friars different? St. Clare, closest to St. Francis, who started the rule, other branches established since that time, who operate under their own unique constitutions. Their own unique constitution is what I'm interested in, as it refers them members of a contemplative order. Brings to mind, and many more questions, source of text, the parochial history of Cornwall, notes druid, druidesses, or druia. Some derive this word from Hebrew derusim or drusim, which they translate contemplates or contemplates. I'm not sure if monks and friars are different. I mean, I know that the Franciscan order calls their priests friars, don't they? They consider themselves monks rather than priests. Do the Augustinians call themselves friars? Not sure. Yeah. So in a monastery, there's a monk and he's making chips. And a visitor asks him, Are you? He's peeling spuds and chopping up the spuds to be made into chips. And someone asks him, "Are you the friar?" And he says, "No, I'm the chipmunk." Okay, we're starting a new section, so yes, we'll read a bit more because I know you seem to be all in the mood for it. She's a witch. Yeah, she weighs the same as a duck. And something about putting stones in water, you know, they sink, but very small ones might float. Points of agreement and difference between Irish and Gaulish druids. Chief points of agreement. 1. They had the same Celtic name in both countries, Druid. 2. They were all wizards, magicians, and diviners. 3. They were the only learned men of the time. They were judges, poets, professors of learning in general. 4. They were teachers, especially of the children of kings and chiefs. 5. Their disciples underwent a long course of training, during which they got by heart great numbers of verses. Doesn't say what time period Michael Trott asked a little while ago. Monks serve in a monastery and friars are more rogue. Wow. Pardon, I'm getting some laughs at that joke, which I'm glad to hear about because I thought that might go down like a lead balloon. 6. They were the king's chief advisors. They were very influential and held in great respect, often taking precedence even of the kings. 7. Pardon me. Among both the Irish and Gauls, there were druidesses. 8. They had a number of gods. Caesar gives the Gaulish gods the Roman names, Mercury, Jupiter, etc. But these Roman names do not fit, for the Gaulish gods were quite different from those of Rome and Greece, and had different names and different functions. Many of the Irish gods, as will be shown farther on, were identical with those of Gaul. Deborah Williams has missed everyone and my jokes. I mean, I can understand how you would miss everyone. Can't understand how you would miss my jokes. I hope everyone has been well. Debbie in Hillsborough, Maryland. Deborah, what a pleasure to see you. Monica Regley is late. Very late. But I mean, that's okay because she had work to do. And work comes before Mythflix. That's perfectly okay. Good evening to both of you. And Debbie, yeah, great to see you and hope you are in good form. Here's a good definition, says Mavanway. A friar lives and works among regular people in society while a monk lives in a secluded, self-sufficient group of monks. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And here are the chief points of difference between the Irish and the Gaulish druids. 1. The Gaulish druids were under one head druid with supreme authority, and they held periodical councils or synods, the Council of Elrond. There was no such institution in Ireland, though there were eminent druids in various districts, with the influence usually accorded to eminence. 2. The Gaulish druids held the doctrine of the immortality of the soul, as applying to all mankind, the soul of every human being passing after death into other bodies, i.e. of men, not of the lower animals. Excuse me. There is no evidence, as will be shown in section 9, that the Irish druids held the souls of all men to be immortal. But in case of a few individuals, palpably exceptional, it is related that they lived on after death, some reappearing as other men, some as animals of various kinds, and a few lived on in fairyland without the intervention of death. Except for they weren't mortal anymore. Their mortal bodies were dead. Small point, but small but salient point that feels important. Sorry, that was my Dr. Gregory House impression. 3. Everyone lies. 3. Human sacrifice was part of the rite of the Gaulish druids, sometimes an individual being sacrificed and slain, sometimes great numbers together. There is no record of any human sacrifice in connection with the Irish druids, and there are good grounds for believing that direct human sacrifice was not practiced at all in Ireland, as will be shown further on in this chapter, in section 5. That's interesting. So sometimes the Gaulish druids sacrificed in great numbers. Number 4, the Gaulish druids prohibited their disciples from committing to writing any part of their lore, regarding this as an unhallowed practice. There is no mention of any such prohibition among Irish druids, although nothing was written down in Ireland until the Christian monks came. I think our earliest writing was something like the 6th century AD, wasn't it? Hang on, got to catch up. Mfanwe, I found this article all about medieval laundry. We were talking about Daz and keeping your whites white earlier, Desiree, which has a great title, Laundry in the Middle Ages Was as Bad as You Think. And there's a link there as well. Sounds funny. Human sacrifice has come under more study and is not proven as sacrifice. You might elaborate there, Alexi, because I'm not really following, but I'm sure there's a meaning that I don't understand. Yeah, the way they used to clean clothes was repulsive by our standards. Yes. Could you imagine what they smelt like, though? You know, if a medieval peasant was to walk from the 14th century out into your modern day house, you know, embrace you, you know, could you imagine? Oh, yeah. That would be fun. 4, the Gaulish druids prohibited their disciples from... Oh, yes. 5, the Gaulish druids revered the oak and the mistletoe when growing on it. The Irish druids revered the yew, the hazel, and the quicken tree or rowan tree, but not the oak. 6, the Gaulish druids, as we are informed, were priests. The Irish druids were not. They were merely wizards and learned men. Merely wizards. Merely. I thought there were magicians and diviners and poets, but just merely wizards. Wow. 7, a point of difference regarding Druidic literature that ought to be noticed is this, that while all our knowledge regarding the Gaulish and British Druids is derived from Latin and Greek writers, there being no native accounts, or next to none, our information about Irish Druids comes from native Irish sources and none from foreign writers. Yay. Here's an extract, says Movanwe. The history of laundry soap isn't any more pleasant, with most people using homemade lye, L-Y-E, solutions made from ashes or harsh black liquid soap, and gentle Castile soap being much more expensive. Sometimes clothes had to be soaked for hours at a time in lye or ammonia to bleach stains and grayness out before being taken to the river and rinsed, beaten with a paddle and rinsed again. Finally, after washing, a medieval laundress had to rely on the weather and spread the wet clothes out on the fields to dry, hoping and praying that it didn't rain. Well, you would forget about that in Ireland. Wow. This druid is in Cozumel. Limited service, says Sheila Gunn. Hello, Sheila. I'm not sure if I said hello to you earlier on. I don't think I did. The distraction of the laundry. Ha, says Michael. So, Gaulish druids were more cruel than Irish ones. Did I get that right? Well, yes, Monica. Except for, don't forget what he's saying here is that the accounts of the Gaulish druids were all our knowledge of those is derived from Latin and Greek writers who may have been writing from a slightly biased viewpoint. But our information about the Irish druids comes from Irish sources. So that's something just to... But yeah, in summary, I think that's what they were saying, you know. What time are we on? Have we time for... Oh, this next section is very long. Not reading the whole lot, no way, because it's just going to be going on all night. But I think I'll read a couple of pages of it. And sure, we'll stop mid-section. That's what we did last week. And it keeps everybody excited and in full anticipation. On the edge of your seat. Cliffhanger time, you know. Sorcerers and sorcery. 1 foot, 1 hand, 1 eye. Yes, I just read it. Desiree. Sorcerers and sorcery is the section. And this subsection is 1 foot, 1 hand, 1 eye. Somebody bring Saskia in. Oh my God, she's out in the rain. Spells of several kinds are often mentioned in our ancient writings as practiced by various people, not specially or solely by druids, but all such rites and incantations by whomsoever performed magical practices of every kind are known by the general name of druidecht, druidecht, i.e., druidism, indicating that all proceeded from the druids. Some of the most important of them will be described here. A common name for us. I'm going to have to let the dog in. Apologies. Oh. Oh, she kept that quiet. Sometimes they don't complain, and you forget about them for a while. Yeah, I know. Huskies take forever to dry when wet. I know, they're like sheep. A common name for a sorcerer of any kind, whether a druid or not, was Corguinech. Corguinech. And the art he practiced, the art of sorcery, was Corguinecht. Corguinecht. Just put a T on the end of it. The explanation of these Corguinechs as folks of might, given in the story of the Battle of Moitura, shows the popular estimation in which they were held. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I apologize. I'm going down my own rabbit hole here for a second. Revue Celtique XII. I need to get me Revue Celtique, volume 12. Is it on Internet Archive? Huskies don't bark, says Monica. They sing. Saskia has a particular way of yelping. She even walks like a lady, little twinkle toes. I can always tell when she walks in the room when you're reading. And so can Amadeus. Yeah, she has a little bit of, I think she's getting arthritis. She's starting to get a bit stiff. But she is 12, you know. So I have searched for Revue Celtique 12. What have I actually got? Publication date 1870. Volume 16 was published in 1895. So there's no way. Well, maybe. Okay, let's have a look. Sorry, I'm going down. I'm just being completely selfish here. Tome. Yes, it is tome 12. Okay. Pardon me, I'm getting excited. I'm downloading that. Because what I don't think I have, I only have the Battle of Moitura as translated by, is it Elizabeth Gray? Is it? No. Yeah, E.A. Gray, and that's in the Irish Text Society. I didn't realize, I don't think, or maybe I do, but what page 77? Let me just have a look at the contents. Okay, that's really weird. Contents, of course, it's all in French. Let me scroll down to page 77 and see what is there. And I've scrolled past it. Yeah, the Second Battle of Mytura, Whitley Stokes. Wow. Yes, sorry. I didn't know there was a Stokes translation. Of course I did. And our very good friend Morgan Daimler translated Caught Mytura. And she refers to both the Gray and the Stokes translations. 5 minutes later, I've emerged from said rabbit hole, for which I apologise. Could someone please type out that title for Volume 12? Yeah, it's French. It's Revue Celtique, literally Celtic Review. It was a journal published in the late 19th century, and I think into the early 20th. And Whitley Stokes was one of the contributors to it, and others. Some of the articles are in French, some of them are in German. But if you can get like this, the Stokes stuff, where you have the Irish on one page and the English translation on the other, it's brilliant. Revue Celtic. Oh yes, sorry, everybody's yes, there's loads of people helping with that. No, well, loads of people. Sorry, Monica is helping. T is joining us and says Happy Christmas. Many happy returns. It's a bit early. You know, I always say the solstice comes first, you know. Monica, Desiree is telling Monica that my husky mix speaks English better than some of my family back home. Somebody else was saying earlier on the Irish accent is so hard to understand. If you think the Irish accent is hard to understand, you should try the husky accent. Okay, I suppose I better finish up because it's nearly 9:30. Anyway, in the Battle of Mytura, folks of might, these Corgwinnochs, shows the popular estimation in which they were held. Usually, while practicing his spell, the Corgwinnoch was on one foot, one hand, and one eye, which means standing on one foot with one arm outstretched and with one eye shut. That looks strange. While in this posture, he uttered a kind of incantation or curse called Glom Dichan, commonly extempore, as in unrehearsed, spontaneous, which was intended to inflict injury on the maledicted person or persons. It was chanted in a loud voice, as the word glom or glov indicates, meaning, according to Cormac's glossary, clamour or outcry. O'Daveran, in his glossary, defines Corgwinnoch as, quote, to be on one foot, on one hand, and on one eye, making the glom dichan. The term glom dichan was often applied to the air, aeor, or satire of a poet, and in this application, it will again be mentioned in chapter 11. I think we're going to have to leave it at that. T just wants to be different. We're all different, aren't we? We're all different, but some people are more different than others. I love the Irish accent, says Desiree. I wish everyone said my name like you. It sounds so much nicer the way you say it. You're just trying to be nice because I up the pronunciation of your name a long time ago, very early on in the Live Irish Myths live streams. And by the time I realized I was saying it wrong, because I heard you on one of the Zooms that we had telling someone else, it's Desiree. You were saying, they were asking, who's that? And you said, it's Desiree here. And I was like, her name's Desiree. It's not pronounced Desiree at all. And then I realized, yeah, Desiree. Yeah, I've heard that name. I've never heard of somebody called Desiree. I feel stupid. But anyway, that's how that came about. Sounds like the first Christian sect in the North African desert who lived totally ascetic and were standing on one foot, sometimes on a pillar. Wow. Me too, says Kathy May. Me too, as in you love the Irish accent or something else. No No, really, not being nice. You and South African friends say it like that, and I love it. Sounds like a disease the way Desiree. The use of satire was strong with the Irish Druids. Yeah, but sure, wasn't that what prompted Bress to lose the throne in Caught My Chura? He was satired, as it were. Thank you, Anthony. As always, another interesting episode. By the way, love your Friar Chipmunk joke. Don't encourage me. Did you get the one about my wife saying I had no sense of direction, so I packed my bags and right? Packed my bags and left. Never mind. Yes. Yes, so yep. Looking forward to the solstice. The solstice days at Newgrange next week begin on Monday, on the 18th. And they go all the way to the 23rd. I'm hoping to be there as many days as possible, if not every day. I'll do some live streams when I'm there. I'll be out taking photographs, of course. And on the 21st, don't forget, there is a live stream anyway, an official OPW live stream. So I think the link for that, I did share it, but I'll probably reshare it on the Facebook over the next couple of days so people know exactly where to go. Won't be hard to find anyway on the day. So looking forward to that. And of course, we're reminded that although the days are short and the sun is low in the sky, it's about to reach its lowest and going to head back up the horizon again. And then summer will be coming and longer days. Brilliant. Alva Kelly, Ecoa, winter Greenstad soon. Yes, Greenstad on Gowrie. For me, it's Christmas musical time for the next 2 weeks. With that, yes, brass band Christmas concert is on Wednesday evening, in the Barbican in Drogheda here. So I'll be playing some music at that, and we've a few other bits and pieces on as well. So thanks for lifting my spirits, says Desiree. I love my Mythical Ireland family. I don't know what I would do without my weekly live stream. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Oh, that's lovely. And yeah, sure. Look, we've made some. We've had some good crack, as we say in Ireland, good fun and good friends, and that makes it all the more enjoyable. Sure, there'd be no live stream without the Tua, really. It'd be just me talking to myself, and sure, look, that's, I do that anyway. Barbara Murphy says, thanks, Anthony, everyone. Have a great, happy, safe, and healthy week. Same back at you, Barbara. Absolutely. Novanri says, thank you, Anthony, and the Tua. Great crack, as always. Hope you all have a great week. And stay warm in this chilly weather if you're in the chilly place, or stay dry in the wet ones, because it's pissing out of the sky here. Archeo Linguistic Adventures with Nolan says, hi from snowy Pennsylvania. Wow, it's snowing in Pennsylvania. Good afternoon to you, sir, but we are finished and I am about to leave. But hello and goodbye, and thanks for joining us. Adrian O'Beglin, Goramila Mahakot, Ikawa Akarja, Ikawa Makara, Adrian. John Inman says, I love carols. Preferably Christmas carols, says you. Yes. You covered a lot of information, says Joe. Druids, trees, human sacrifice, and a wizard. Take care. Yeah. Well, we do tend to get through quite a lot, yes. Thank you for a fun afternoon, says Valerie. Good to be in with the two, having laughs and learning. Well, I'm glad you're having laughs and I'm glad you're learning. These are two very important things. The Irish have a wonderful sense of humor. Never let it be said. If you take yourself too seriously in life, you ain't going anywhere. I need to get back to the beginning and listen carefully to everything. Very interesting today, says Lexi. There's Lexi. I don't know if we said hello to you earlier, but Barbara said you weren't here. Or maybe she didn't know you were here. Lexi, yes, go back to the beginning. It was fun, but we didn't start actually reading till about 34 minutes in, which is just over an hour ago now. Just an hour ago now. Thank you, Elaine. Glad you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week for weather reports and temperature reports from Texas and a little bit more about the Druids. Hopefully we'll see you from Newgrange as well that morning. Hopefully all going well. Thanks, Wayne. Have a good one. Brehans were like lawyers, Monica. Yes, indeed. We were talking about those quite recently. Thank you, Adina. Hope everyone has a great week. Stay safe. Yes. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you, especially to the Australian, Tasmanian, and New Zealand viewers. Happy Tuesday to you. Hope you have a great day. For the rest of you, I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Ivania says, Friar Chipmunk joke. Loved it. Irish humour is on. Yes, I know, but it's not always. I have to admit, some of my jokes couldn't even be classed as jokes, you know. Helen, good afternoon. Have a great day. Thanks. And Sandra Boothroyd, Ikowa, Kolosov, Slán go fóil, and Toga Bugé, which means take it easy. We'll see you all very soon. Good night. Thanks for joining us on episode 255. More soon. Bye.